This
you really
conference will now be recorded.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So this will help you out in understanding dynamics, help you out in understanding what kind of career path that you have going forward. Okay. So let's have a small intro slides that we have. So what is let's start with what we are and what kind of trainings that we are offering. Okay. So you already inquired and you already know from Ishwar and other people that so NexGen IT Solutions is a training institute from Hyderabad, India. So we have been providing training. I have been providing training since 2007. Okay, so it's more than 17 years of training that we have provided in Dynamics F&O. Prior to that, F&O, there were different names were there for Dynamics. You will come to know. So we have been providing training, and so it's earlier before Corona, we used to provide trainings in the classroom because we do not we were not equipped all these online even many things were not possible at that time, so we used to provide classroom trainings. Now we are providing mostly online. So we provide training in finance and operations, basically the functional training. So I'll tell you what is functional, what is technical. Okay, finance, operations, and technical. So I myself, let me introduce myself. I am Sanjay Srinivas, working in Dynamics since last 20 years. I worked in various companies. Currently, I am with Microsoft. And apart from 20 years of dynamic experience, I have 5 years finance domain experience also. So basically, I am a cost accountant. I did my cost and works accounting, CW basically. So I finished that in 2005, and prior to that, I finished my master's in 2002. So after master's, I joined in a finance company where I worked as accountant. While working as accountant, I finished my CWA and uh, then moved into the IT career. So this is my experience and what we are. Okay, so that is just for your understanding what we are and what we provide. But most important thing is this one. What is dynamics and what is that you will learn from dynamics and what kind of career path that you will have after learning this and what kind of efforts that you need to put in order to grab the market and have the uh, um, uh, and act as a consultant in the dynamics area. Okay, so let me start with the word called ERP. So some of you might have heard the ERP. So if you talk about business applications, we will have various applications in general. Okay, different companies operates different ways, right? Suppose if you talk about banking, so banking side they will have their own uh, tools or software to operate with. For example, they will have deposits. They don't need to take deposits. They need to do the payments to customers. To operate the deposits, payments, they will have their own software tool. Similarly, different kind of domains will have different tools. Those are all front ending tools. Normally, the backend to run their backend operations and backend reporting, most of the companies need to have. the resources planned properly, the tools that can be maintained for their accounting and for their reporting, right? So to have their accounting, their operations means the back end operations. When I say to have their back end operations, to have their accounting, to have their some kind of front end operations also. Say for example, sales, purchases. So those are basically trading companies, not the banking operations. So they do trading. They can use these some of the tools from in front end also, right? So in order to do the back end operations, in order to do some of the front end operations of any kind of businesses, they should have some software tools. Okay, everywhere if you go, everywhere, any kind of organization, suppose if you go to hospital, many people sits before computer and they will try to operate. When you go for any consultation in a hospital, they will enter the details in a system and give you the slip or whatever, receipt or whatever, right? Similarly, if you go to bank, if you go to any kind of organizations, so they will have their own operational activities. Okay, so that is basically the people who are visible or who are helping you are basically end users. But to make that software and to implement, if the software is already made, to implement that software, there are people required in the background. Okay, to make and implement. Making in the sense to develop that software, to design and develop that software is one point. And after designing and development, they should implement that software to that particular organization, whether it is a banking, hospital, whether it is a pharma company, whether it is a manufacturing company, whether it is whatever the kind of organization. So if they want, we need to implement that software, right? So end users just use it, but before that, the IT team implement that software to those companies. Okay. In that particularly, when we talk about implementation of that software, in that particularly, in most of the organizations, it is required to have a backend system, that is ERP system. Why we call it as ERP? Because it helps them to plan their resources, right? The money, it will tightly connect all the resources, material, money, manpower, whatever it is. It is tightly connect. Tightly connect means proper planning will be done. So if one example I'll give, if if these tools are not there, if this tool is not there, probably you will understand. Okay. So we have assume that there is no software or there are no tools in a company. Okay. So one person sell the product, another person accountant sits in somewhere, another person billing person sits in somewhere, and salespersons sell the product. Okay. So salesperson sell the product, he will give intimation to the billing people. Billing people will do the billing and give the bill to the one bill to the salesperson, another bill to the accounting team. Then accounting person will receive that bill and enter in the books of accounts. So three people are required to do one sales activity if the software tools doesn't exist for a company. So to avoid that, so what we can do, we can bring all these three resources into one. one umbrella. This is nothing but a planning. We are just planning the resources in a proper way so that the wastages will be avoided. So the software tools that helps to plan the resources of a company are normally known as ERP software. Like this, the example that I have given, right? So ERP helps the resource planning of a business. That's the reason it is called as business application. And back it will help them in the back end operations. And also possibility for front end operations where it is trade and other activities. Not for everybody, not for every organization. They will have their own way of doing things, but definitely it will help in the back end operations. Okay. So it was started, the era was started in 1970s itself. Okay, the ERP, like AI now we are, AI is in evolution stage, right? Similarly, ERP was in evolution stage in 1970s. Okay, and then slowly the that has been developed, and then finally it is reached at this stage and will continue. This will never stop. This will continue forever because every company, every organization that do the business definitely need to do the resource planning. So if they want to do resource planning, definitely they need to go for ERP. Okay. So this is basically an intro of ERP. And what is Dynamics 365 F&O or D365 F&O or F&SCM? People will call it as F&O, F&SCM, Dynamics, Dynamics F&O. Okay, different names they call it as. Okay, so when I say ERP, it is a common in general. Under that umbrella, different people are different IT product based companies developed their own applications or their own software. Suppose as we started discussion with SAP, right? So Gurpreet working as a SAP end user in accounts receivable area. If you talk about that, okay. So it's an ERP from the SAP company. That SAP is an ERP from the company called SAP. Similarly, it's a the purpose is to use it in the back end, and front end operations of a business. But it need not necessary to have only one application throughout world. Different companies have the different applications. So Microsoft Dynamics is from Microsoft, and it is part of Microsoft ERP tool. Similarly, like SAP, Microsoft, we have other ERP tools also in the market. The others are, already most of you might be knowing Oracle and Sage ERP, Workday ERP, different ERP systems also exists in the market. Okay. So when different ERPs exists in the market, so why do we go for Dynamics, and what are the advantages of learning Dynamics, and what benefits we'll get learning Dynamics? I'll cover it up. Okay, before that, so you understood that Dynamics is a ERP application from Microsoft. Okay, it is a cloud first ERP. So before, prior to all other ERPs, Microsoft bought in this ERP into the cloud first. Before SAP is still struggling to bring it into cloud. Okay, so Oracle already bought in, but SAP is still struggling. That HANA is the one which they are struggling to bring it into. cloud. So we have done 10 years back. The Microsoft has already moved its ERP into cloud 10 years back. It's been 10 years now. The others are still struggling. And integrated with Dynamics Family Shoot. This is very important. So as I mentioned, this tool works in the background. What about front-end applications like CRM tool, like any other application like retail? If it is a retail company, they will have point of sale system or POS, so that whenever they do the scanning of product and entering the product details, immediately that will be done in the front end system. And once that is moved at or the billing is closed, that will also records in the background in accounting and financial system, right? So front end you will have one application and back end you will have F&O application. So Microsoft has already given some of the applications for the front end, like retail application, CRM application, Power Platform. So different tools are there. So it easily connects, or already inbuilt or native integration already exists with other Dynamics family suite. So that when the customer wanted to have products like Microsoft and other tools, they can buy as a suite, Microsoft family suite, and then they will operate quickly. They don't need to think about other third party tools. Suppose if I buy Dynamics 365 from Microsoft, I need to buy retail system from other people. They don't need to think. The inbuilt application will help them. Inbuilt family suite will help them to have it operated for their operations. Okay. And most important nowadays, you might have hearing AI or Copilot. So AI based Copilot enabled, and it's it covers already many features within Dynamics, and it is developing, Microsoft developing many AI features, many AI prompts for Microsoft Dynamic itself, so that it will ease the operations of the end users. Okay. So for example, I want to see one simple example I'll give you. As an end user, I want to see what is my customer balance and when to pay. So in traditional ERP, normally I need to go to reports and I need to generate a report. I need to select a customer and then generate a report and see how much I need to pay. So that may take 5 minutes for a user in traditional ERP. Okay. In AI based prompts, when we have, you can mention in your prompt, or you can mention the sidecar mentioning that customer name or customer number. That is enough. Okay. Mention that customer name. Provide the due details of customer XYZ. Just you mention that, immediately it will prompt. It will, you just mention it in the prompt, it will give you the details of that customer and due details quickly within a minute or within a short span of time. So it is making their life easy. So why we should learn this? Why, when we say their life is easy, when end user life is becoming easy, when it is more useful for the customers, the more demand you will have, the more demand Dynamics will have. When the Dynamics have more demand, the demand will have for the consultants like us. Okay. So that's the reason it is evolving, evolving. They are bringing a lot of new features, lot of integrated features, lot of new features, bringing in and making it as a modern ERP application. Okay. So when it is becoming modern AI based, nowadays everybody is thinking AI, right? Especially Satya Nadella is completely focusing and Microsoft is completely focusing on AI side. So they are modernizing it and you will have a lot of opportunities along with learning of ERP along with AI based features. Okay. So this is just a glimpse of what is now you have understood D365 what it is. It's a ERP and how it is working or how it is useful for the business. Now, when we started it, what is that we are really working on, and when now what is that current version that we have, right? So you can see the history of Dynamics. You have the basically this Dynamics is not a really Microsoft product initially. It was started its development in mid 90s by Denmark based company called Amagard, and they named it as Accepta. Then first release was in 1998 and then they renamed the product. The major thing happened in 2002. They named it as Microsoft Accepta. Sorry for the day years. It's not 2022, it is 2002. So they named it as Accepta and released version 3. So it is, as mentioned, it is not initially developed by Microsoft. It is developed by Damagard, and Microsoft acquired the company called Damagard. That means Microsoft acquired Damagard company, and they took over automatically when the company is acquired. Automatically, the tools, the products that are developed by that company, automatically the products of Microsoft, right? So they acquired this product and released it as Microsoft Dynamics Accepta in 2002. And then version 4, 5, 6 were released. All are in various years, 2008, 11. So these are different versions released. All are on-premises versions, basically. That means they Microsoft has given this product to install in their own servers and operate by the businesses on their own. It's not operated by the Microsoft. In 2015 onwards, they started cloud evolution and cloud ERP. In 2017, full cloud version they released, that is called Microsoft Dynamics F&O. The current ERP name, Microsoft Dynamics F&O, full cloud version they released in 2017. Okay. So after that 2017, there is no change. There is no new product name that they brought in. They are calling it as Dynamics 365 F&O. But for every 2 months, Microsoft keep on releasing new versions. Every 2 months. Okay, the new updates, upgrades, like any other software tools, Microsoft keep on releasing the updates in every 2 months. The current in-market version is 10.0.42. That's the version number. Okay, 42. 10.42 is the normally we call it as, and that's the version that we are using. So all that AI features and all that are coming up, right? So every 2 months, the new features, new whether it is AI, non-AI, whatever the features that Microsoft is releasing, every 2 months it keeps on release. Whatever the new development that takes place, new uh, areas that brought in into Dynamics, so they will release in every 2 months. That's the point here. Why this release is required? You may ask. Because nothing will stop after product development. We keep on, it's mandatory that every product owner keeps on improvising the product, right? Otherwise, you will not sustain in the market. That's a competition. That's a competition we have in the market from other tools, right? So we need to, though we have good product, we need to keep on improvising the product, bringing new features, benefiting to the customers, how better way we help the customers so that the tool will be most useful for the customers, right? So that's the reason we keep on improvising the product, we keep on adding the new features, we keep on releasing the new features and helping the customers more better way to do their operations. So that's the reason it is sustained in the market. That's the reason you have lot of demand. You means consultants will have lot of demand in the market to grab this IT job. Okay. Now, okay, that is all fine. What is dynamics is you understood. What is and evolution of dynamics you understood. Now, what is the benefit of learning this? Why we should learn it? That's the question. So, reason for learning, basic thing that you want to move or you want to change your career into IT domain where you want to be IT consultant. Okay. After learning this, you will, when you are looking for a IT job or you are looking for any kind of consulting in IT area, especially in the Dynamics ERP side, then you should know what is Dynamics and what is its functionality covering and what is that kind of job that you will do after learning this or after gaining a job in any IT company. All that you should know, right? So your learning will widen your skills in terms of understanding ERP application dynamics, how this works, how this can be implemented for a customer. That is the point number one. Point number two, it will help you in how the process of implementation works. It's not only the product understanding is one and process understanding is the other one. So it helps you to understand the process, how the implementation will be done for the customer, and what will be your role in the implementation of a ERP to a customer. Okay, so that's the reason you need to learn this. So basically, two reasons. One is what is there in product. You should be thorough. You should be understanding product. When I say this application, and what is the process of implementation, how that helps you to gain the job or get the job. Okay, who are eligible? Who should learn this? Okay, there are, when we talk about who, then we will have different things to understand. When we say the, if you want to act as a consultant in the area of finance, okay, so then Before that, I would like to cover, before finance operations technical, I'll just like to cover uh, when this product is ready for implementation, is one person is enough to do it? Suppose you are implementing this, or you are a part of IT company, you are implementing this to, let us say, Mahindra, Mahindra Cars or Mahindra Motors. Mahindra Motors wants to replace its ERP system. They want to implement D365 for their operations to maintain their finance activities, to maintain their manufacturing, their supply chain activities. They want to use D365 ERP. So you are part of the team. You are part of that. As part of D365 implementation team, are you alone sufficient to do it? Is the question. It is not. You are not sufficient. One person is not sufficient to do this implementation of ERP to any client or customer. Okay, this Mahindra is a client for you. Let's say you are part of Accenture or you are part of Infosys, let us say. You're part of Infosys, and Infosys got a contract from Mahindra to implement D365. You are part of the team, Infosys team. So multiple people will be there to implement D365. Maybe 2, 3 people in the finance area, 2, 3 people in the operations area, maybe 5, 6 people in the technical. So altogether team of 10 to 15 people will be there, along with team leads and also your delivery manager, your project manager. Altogether there may be 15 members work on this project. Depends on the number, maybe depends on the planning by the project managers. Okay, how soon they want, how soon the contract to need to be closed, depends on that. The number of consultants, the period, all will be decided. I'll explain you that in the next sessions, coming session. But so it is what I'm trying to say, all in all, it is not possible to implement by one person. So, and it is not possible for anybody to have full understanding of the entire ERP. It is very vast. The application is very, very vast. Nobody, I mean, if somebody has full understanding, that's okay. That's a different story. But even one person cannot do, even if they have understanding. Okay, normally when I say the understanding of full product is not possible for all of us. So you have to start with, or you will have opportunities only in one domain. Okay, suppose if you are part of finance team, okay, or maybe you will be treated as finance consultant. So finance consultants will have their own market. They will learn only finance area and start consulting in the finance area. Similarly, the supply chain will have generally we call it as operations or T&L, trade and logistics area. They maintain. They will help the companies to implement supply chain modules. Those are operations consultants or supply chain consultants. Similarly, any customizations, any modification to the product required, that will be done by the technical people. Technical, when I say, one must know the programming. Okay, one must have experience in writing programs and all. For functional people, no need to have any programming knowledge. Any bachelor degree is normally enough. Bachelor's or master's degree is normally enough. Okay, but you must be very intelligent in understanding the business requirements and mapping them appropriately, which functionality that we should offer or we should give to the customer based on their needs or based on their requirements. That's the only intelligence that everyone must have. You no need to have specific degree like finance degree is needed to finance people. I would say no, not necessary. Okay. But if you have the finance degree, you will easily understand the customer requirements. Bit easy. It is bit easy, not necessary to understand the requirement. That's all. For operations, anyway, it is normal. Any degree is enough to do it. So this is the eligibility and benefits of learning. Okay, let's talk about job market where we have market. Normally, in almost in all IT companies, dynamics practice is there. Okay, almost major IT companies will have a dynamics practice like anyway. Microsoft itself has it. TCS, Infosys, Wipro, any IT company, most of the IT companies you will have. Don't get me wrong. In the other product areas like Google, like any chip manufacturing companies or any companies, don't think those companies are offering D365. Okay, Google never offers D365. It's a different product, right? So normally the major IT companies have the opportunities acting as a Microsoft partner for implementation of D365. Whoever acting as a Microsoft partner for implementation of D365, you will have opportunities. Almost all IT service companies, not product companies, service companies have the opportunities. Okay. Accenture, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL, Hitachi, every service company will is acting as a Microsoft partner for implementation of D365. You will have opportunities. Okay. So another important question will come into your mind, or you might have already there in your mind that do we have opportunities for freshers? That's a big question in your mind. I know. Okay. Let me clarify very clearly. Please focus. So when we talk about freshers, there are two kinds of freshers. One is college pass outs. The other one is already someone have already experience in their domain or other domain not related to any ERB domain but wants to choose a career. That is another kind of fresher. College pass outs is one kind of freshers and having experience in other domain, but for ERP it is a fresher. Let's categorize into two. So for college pass outs, normally, let's talk about college pass outs now. So college pass outs normally, most of the career they will start as a fresher, easy for them from college itself, or even if they are outside and they want to go as a fresher, they have some opportunities. Very rare, but they other than college placements, if they want to try their own, it's very difficult for them to get it. Okay, that is Anyway, most of you are not college pass outs. Let's leave, put it aside. Now let's talk about other experience, not ERP implementation experience, any other experience that you have. Okay, so this is very important and crucial. If you have experience like Dynamics end user or any other ERP experience, it is easy for you to understand the tool and to grab the market. If you do not have, it's bit difficult. You need to focus more, understand more, deep dive into the application, how that works, and try as a domain changing fresher. Okay. So do we have opportunities for that? Yes, we do have some opportunities in some companies. Not every company is offering such jobs. Okay. Really, not every company. Some companies where they are looking for intelligent people, those who worked in the real domain and want to grab the IT side. Especially companies like Accenture, they are looking for HSO, Accenture. Okay. So, what about other companies? Are they not looking for freshers, domain changing freshers? Normally, no. Okay. Meaning, suppose if you take TCS, Infosys, they are very rigid, very stringent. They want to take only the experienced people. IT or ERP experienced people only they are preferring. Okay. So that's the current condition of the market. So how do we get the experience? That's a big challenge, right? Unless you have some kind of offer, some if somebody gives, it is difficult to get the experience, right? So that's a tricky. You need to understand application to the extent that you are experienced. Okay. And you need to practice to the extent that you are experienced in ERP implementation, and then you can try for the jobs. And yeah, that's about the job market and what kind of jobs are available. And now let's talk about our training side. So as I mentioned, it is a vast, you cannot learn the entire application in single go. You have to choose one of these areas based on your interest, passion, and based on your experience, based on your domain knowledge, based on your knowledge in understanding the business operations. You need to choose. Of course, your academic background will also helps you there. So we have, so one of the areas you need to choose either financials or operations, manufacturing, retail. Anyway, technical is out of scope for you. Those who are non coding or non programming background, technical is out of scope, but you can choose one of those areas and select which is appropriate, applicable for you. Okay, if you are from finance background, your experience is finance, your academics from finance background, you can choose financials. So you will be treated as finance consultant once you are part of that. Similarly, supply chain consultant or operations consultant, manufacturing consultant, retail consultant. So in general, in the companies, we will have a different consulting team. So you will be treated as specific consultant. after you are learning. So in financials normally, I'll just explain in financials normally, all the you will be the you will act as a consultant to implement basic financials to a client. For example, basic financials in the sense what are the things that you will work on to implement. So you will work on your general ledger module, your accounts payable, your accounts receivable, your fixed assets, your budgeting, your taxation or localization of a client. All that areas you will implement to the customer. In case of operations consultant, inventory management area, warehouse management, the uh, product management, engineering, asset management. So different areas you will cover under the operations. Manufacturing is very straightforward, production, planning, production, quality, etc. part of manufacturing. Retail, basically the point of sales implementation, we will take it up. So different areas will have its own domain functions. You will act as a consultant in that particular area. So it's all your interest, all your passion to learn will help you there. Normally the training time, normally we take 2 months for completion of training. I'll try to cover early, but normally it takes 2 months. Okay. So that's about the training details. I leave the forum for questions. We'll continue tomorrow, I think. Yeah. I leave the time for the questions now. Let's have your questions to be answered. Yeah. Maybe you can start your questions.
Sir,
Anybody?
Soundarya here.
Yes, Saundar.
Sir, do we get any real-time projects to work on to get any hands-on experience during the training period?
Yeah. It's not real-time projects, Saundarya. You are right.
Mm-hmm.
So real-time project is, don't believe anybody says real-time project. No companies will allow anybody to bring the data, client data outside.
Yeah, I know. So I got you. So, do we get any
Yes, yes. It's a
demo
kind
projects or
yes,
something? Yeah.
demo project. I'll give the demo project and we will work only on the demo project. I will act as a lead for you and will
Mm-hmm.
ensure you will complete your project. That's a point here. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do a demo project, not real
Okay.
time.
And also, do you provide any trial versions, sir, so that we can log
Practice.
into?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So trial version will be provided. It
Mm-hmm.
will be installed in your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that you will log in at your convenience and at your time, you practice yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yes.
your project also will be executed in your version itself. I'll just evaluate whether you are doing right things in right way. So that,
Mm-hmm. Sure,
yeah.
sir. Thank you.
I'll give the client how we do the project. I'll give the client scenarios. I'll ask you to configure. I'll ask you to test and provide me the solution for the given client scenarios by configuring and testing. So
Sure,
I
sir.
will evaluate whether your work is correct, whether you did it correctly, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll give the suggestions if you have not done it properly. So that's the
Okay.
way we complete it. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from anybody?
So my
Hmm?
question is more of a general, for general question. Uh,
Yes.
uh, Point is कि when we are trying for a for this for a consultant role in UK, some other countries, my question is why should they engage somebody paying so much there when they get when they have cost arbitrage of trying to get a resource in India, because these are all online projects, anybody can work from anywhere. Why should they have a local resource there to work on this? Why should they pay three times, four times of what they pay for an Indian consultant? So they can get it done in India or any third country where the consultant gets at a cheaper rate. Why should they engage the local guy?
I understood. I understood your point. That's the reason we are all operating from India, right? So if you see any IT development and IT implementation projects across Europe and US, 90% of the work is resourced, outsourced to India only. We are executing projects from India. 90% of the cases, not even 50, 90%. Okay. We are executing from India across the globe, whatever the projects are going on, 90% from India we are doing it. That's the reason Indian resources are more demanded. Okay. The 10% they wanted it to have in their own country because there are two reasons that we are analyzing. Okay. Every day we will have our own analysis, we'll do it in companies, right? So one is the language problem. Wherever non-English countries are there, one is language problem, and there are some countries exclusively wanted it their own resources in their countries, especially Europe, like German, Denmark, Norway, Sweden. They wanted to have their own language speaking people, so that front-ending people might be there, and still the back-end operations, back-end team, the technical team and other testing team will be from India. Okay, that's the way it is being operated. So 90% I would say from India, low cost locations only. Low cost location is basically India. You got my point?
Yeah, yes, sir. So do this mean to say that we have limited opportunities abroad and mostly opportunities are there in India only?
Mostly in India. Yes, mostly in 90% cases you will have it in India. Okay. If you are already settled in abroad, if you are already there in abroad, it's fine. You can go and search opportunities in abroad in their country, in your own country. But the opportunities are there in India only, mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, will we get the recorded sessions after every
Yeah.
class?
Yes, yes, yes. You will get recorded sessions. We will record the sessions. Okay. Those will helpful for your practice on day-to-day basis.
Okay,
A lot
okay.
of practice is required, team. A lot of practice. You have to spend,
Mhm.
you have to initially maybe 1 2 hours, but going forward when it reaches at a stage, you need to spend a lot of time in practicing. 3 4 hours a day probably required to understand the functionality, logic behind for each functionality. So I may not be available so many hours, right? So the recorded sessions will be helpful for you to go through and rewind yourself for your practice.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, then we'll continue tomorrow if you don't have any